attacks. One of the latest cities to deal with shellings from Russia and families across the city of Lviv rolled out 109 baby strollers across the city square to represent the number of children who have died since Russia's war against Ukraine began. My next guest is from one state back here at home that's making a big effort to support the children of Ukraine. Joining me now is the Attorney General of the great state of West Virginia, Patrick Morrisey. Sir, thank you so much for being with us.
Hey, it's good to be with you. Thank you.
So we had Governor Jim Justice on the show earlier this week, who discussed how he's requested $5 million in aid to support the families of the Children's Hospital that was bombed by Russia. General Morrisey, talk to us about your state's efforts to get these families funds for these facilities and for their own support.
Well, as a state that has also been hit by hard and sometimes difficult times, we know that a lot of states across the U.S. have sometimes pitched in to help West Virginia. I remember when we had some really bad flooding back in 2016 and we had 23 people die, that a lot of people, we got folks from all across the world reaching out to West Virginia to help. And obviously then when other people are in need across the U.S. and across the globe, West Virginians are a good, generous, giving people, and we want to make sure that we step up and help. What happened to so many of these hospitals and these kids is absolutely outrageous. And so I know I support what the governor is doing to step up with a $5 million contribution for the Children's Hospital that was bombed. I think that we need to do more to help the folks who are really in need. And I think it's also critical to keep going back to the fact that all of this was avoidable if our president has been much more savvy about how he handled our energy policy and how he dealt with Putin. This was all avoidable. And we know Putin is a terrible guy, but we could have avoided this.
Yeah, I want to talk to you about energy in just a second. But, you know, it took Joe Biden 3 weeks into this war for him to finally call Vladimir Putin a war criminal. The Congress has gotten engaged here, trying to push the White House on a number of different occasions to do more. It's also kind of unusual for a state to step up in this way to help. Do you think that other states are going to follow West Virginia's lead here and contribute to the humanitarian assistance?
I think so, for a couple different reasons. As the state AG, for instance, we have oversight over a lot of the charitable donations that people make and the foundations. And we've been starting to see a lot of requests coming in, people asking, what can we do to help some of the refugees? What can we do to help some of the people in need? So I think this is a sentiment that not only plays out in West Virginia, but across the country as well. And we obviously would encourage people to step up and donate, although we urge people to watch. There's scammers out there that are trying to rip people off. Only work with a reputable group where you know where the money is going to land. But yeah, I think you're going to see it across the board, and West Virginia is just trying to do its part to help people in need.
General Morrisey, let's turn to energy, which, and I think you alluded to this, not just a domestic issue, it is a national security issue. Since this war began, we've seen those gas prices here at home continue to skyrocket. Also, home heating oil, oil and gas to heat homes, it really hit people very hard this winter. The administration continues to blame Putin for this, but as you know, sir, gas prices started going up long before that when Biden ended the Keystone Pipeline and cut off our energy independence here at home. And we may have ended our purchasing of Russian oil, but he's still not willing to produce more energy here at home. You have a new lawsuit that you filed on behalf of your state against the Environmental Protection Agency. Tell us why you've taken the EPA and the Biden administration to court and how this could impact our energy policy.
Well, absolutely. And let's start with the background here. This should not be labeled as a Putin gas tax. This is really Bidenflation. We're seeing soaring energy prices, whether you're talking about gas at the pump or natural gas, and you see the cost to heat your home. Everyone's feeling the effect of it. But as many people know, we were experiencing this for a long time. This is really directly related to the policy choices that President Biden made when he came into office. And I'll just tick off a few. Let's start with Keystone. Keystone could have been a really important part of helping our country because that pipeline was going to help transport a significant amount of energy, not only into our country, but then it would help allow us to, money, resources coming in from Canada, coming back into the U.S., helping American jobs, and it would have relieved a lot of pressure on energy here in the U.S. Let's keep going. You've got the Biden climate agenda. It wants to wipe out coal, cut natural gas capacity in half. We've been out in front fighting against that, and obviously there's a huge U.S. Supreme Court case that we're working on that you allude to. We argued before SCOTUS, and we're very hopeful we're going to prevail. Then Biden sends the message to Russia about the pipeline, the Nord pipeline. The list goes on and on. He was weak there. And then the social cost of carbon, the moratorium for oil, gas, coal drilling. That's the kind of stuff that's led us to these high prices.
All right, and hopefully other attorneys general will join you in your fight here against the administration's regulations, and we'll keep an eye on the disposition of that case. Thank you, West Virginia Attorney General Patrick Morrisey. Appreciate you being here.
Hey, thanks so much for having me on.